All right. Hello. Um, we are going to do something a little different. We're going to do a Grimdark battle report. It's a firefight, little 300-point battle. And we're going to, I did this I played this game using Universal Battles too. So, yeah, I was also teaching a guy. So it's 300 points, three objectives. And another thing is this guy was kind of new to firefight. So, he was also new to Universal Battles. So this game was also a bit of a learning game. I'm teaching him a bit of OPR. He had played a little, and I'm also just teaching him how to use Universal Battles to play. So, but it's also a learning experience for me too. So yeah, I'm teaching him to play. He just also grabbed an auto army. So he grabbed a sisters army, the Blessed Sisters, and we just created those models, within, 10, 15 minutes. In addition, it was a learning for me. I was learning how to create a battle report, from a Universal Battles game. And there were some technical difficulties. I had some questions about whether I wanted to show the polls or just the battlefield. It's different trying to do a battle report on a Universal Battles than it is where you're like in a game and taking pictures. But I'll go into that and I'll see. Yeah, we'll see how we'll see how you like this. All right. So it's a 300-point firefight. This is my high elf fleet. So I call them, these are my kind of belt hand Eldar. So I have an Elven Noble. He's got energy spear and he's got a energy shield. So shield wall. It's got a little pistol as well. So I've got one Avenger that I've armed with an energy sword, just kind of a cheap hand-to-hand person. I'm going very melee heavy in this list. So I've got one Banshee. She's got the dual mirror swords. And then I've got two Banshees that are just in their standard loadout with a shard pistol and just a regular energy sword. And then I'm also running two Scorpions. So those guys are stealth, fast, and impact, and scout. They hit like a truck with the impact and the chain sword. So two of those guys, they're expensive at 45 points, but they generally do pretty well. So this is just an auto army he pulled out, that he's just like, hey, let's just try and play sister. So, but this army's really good. When I saw this auto army, I was like, man, these guys are really great. So he's got a high sister with a heavy rifle. They all have this devout special rule, which is they get +1 to hit from shooting within 12. That just makes, I mean, that is such a great army-wide rule. So he's got a battle sister. She's just got a heavy rifle. She then has, that's 20 points, by the way, 20 points for her. They then have a fanatic sister with 4 attacks and a heavy chainsword and furious. So even though quality 5 and def 5, that fanatic sister is pretty nasty, and also just a mere 20 points. So she's got a pistolier sister with I guess a jump pack. And then we put her with wings, and then this is basically 2 heavy pistols. She's got 2 Vanguard sisters with shotguns. Shotguns are just so good on those sisters with that devout. Just shotguns are so great on them. She's then got a support sister with a heavy flamer. That thing is just, I was scared to death of that. She's got a bike fanatic, another really good figure. 55 points is a little pricey, but it's tough. She's got a heavy rifle and a heavy chainsword. So that's another, for 55 points, it's a little pricey, but it's still very good. So I just show the model. So this is my, these models are a little more polished. This is what I usually play on Universal Battles when I'm playing my high elf fleets. So the yellow with the cape is my leader. He's got a power sword. I then have 2 Scorpions with in the green. I've got my blue guy. He looks very similar. So he's just a Dire Avenger with a sword. Then I've got 3 Banshees, so 2 with pistols are their standard setup, and the one with 2 katanas is the mirror blades. So again, his stuff is a little more rougher. We actually just grabbed some existing models and just set these up real fast. So, like I said, we just wanted to get into the game. So, I'd spent a fair amount of time in detailing out my models. We just probably 15 minutes, we just grabbed some existing models and just slapped some weapons on them. So, but he's got his leader. We put the hat on her. And then we've got the standard battle sister with the heavy rifle. The flamer is the one with the flames. The 2 in the back are the ones with the shotguns. And in retrospect, I wish we would have made these look different, but it is. So we've got the sister on the bike. Again, probably could have done more for her, but we're trying to get it done quick. And then we have our jetpack. She's got wings with her tool pistols. So yeah. I mean, it's good enough for getting it done in just 15 minutes. All right, so our setup here. So this is the battlefield. This is the 3 objectives. We put 1 in the center and then 1 basically on each of our sides. This is us just getting our measuring set up. So these are the rulers you use for universal battles. They're these kind of interactive rulers. So this is us just measuring our 12-inch deployment zone. So we've got some impassable here. These are these walls. We've got difficult. These are all these craters. And then the houses are also impassable, and the rocks are also impassable. So it's a lot of blocking terrain with some difficult terrain. Yeah. So in our setups, as we're setting up, remember, these are the 2 shotgun sisters that have scout, and these are my 2 scorpions. So they get deployed last. And then I'm kind of looking at this side, and I really don't think I'm going to get this objective. He goes more of a measured setup, and I think he can do that because he has a little more longer range than me. And so he spreads out, like he tends to put his long range weapons on the left where he can kind of shoot down this firing lane, and then he puts some of his faster units on the right. So he has more of a balanced setup, but then again, he's with the range, he does this. You'll see I put this scorpion right up in front. I actually got the role to go first, so I know I'm going to go first. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take out this flamer sister. That is definitely a goal for me. First turn, I just put this guy as far as I could, and I'm like, I'm going after this flamer sister. All right. So turn 1. So yeah, that's exactly what I do. I charge that scorpion. I don't roll great, and I think he rolls pretty good for his saves. I only do 1 wound on him. I was hoping to get like maybe 3 on him, and then roll like a 3 up and just kill him, but I don't. I just get 1, and I actually just stun the flamer sister. So not great. So yeah, so then after stunning her, the scorpion just backs up an inch. So he sends in his fanatic sister. That's 5 attacks hitting on 5s with a heavy chainsword. So he actually, yeah, I think he hits like 3 times and does 2 wounds. Yeah, and then he actually just kills the scorpion. So scorpions have already didn't start out well, but at least I managed to stun this sister. And then he just he consolidates up 3. So in response to that, I just move up my Dire Avenger and just catch this objective. He then runs up his bike. I move up my leader, and I don't want to get too close to him. Again, these shotguns are pretty nasty, and he's got a long-range fire. So I try just to stay back, and I try to just put some wounds on this bike with my pistol. So I shoot, but I miss. He then brings up his shotgun, and he shoots my leader, does 1 wound on her. At this point, I need to take out this shotgun. So but again, I don't want to get my models close. There's a lot of long-range fire here. So I actually just move her up and just shoot, but I miss. He moves up. He unstuns his flamer sister. I then move up my other banshee and shoot and still miss. So like it's definitely some early. I'm not a shooting army, but it would have been nice to hit one of these. But yeah, it's fun. He then runs up his leader. So he kind of comes around and he runs up his leader again to kind of get a nice little firing positions after next turn. I then just bring up my second scorpion. So he's right here. He just comes around the wall, charges. So we got a 16-inch charge. So I hit him, I do 3 wounds, and then I kill her, and then I just back up 3. So he brings up his jetpack sister, or his flying sister with the pistols. I then bring around my banshee. So just to keep that in mind, I basically run around that banshee and I hit her in the back, and I want to kill her and then move forward and actually make this. I'm fast enough that I can, with a consolidation, I can actually get behind this jet bike and not get shot at. So I come behind, and then I do 2 wounds, and then I do kill her. So this is where I start rolling well. I do start rolling really well on the rolls to take someone out. So I roll basically a 4 and take her out as well. Yeah, and so he's got his last model, and he's just going to run up and he's going to grab that objective. So this is the end of the first turn. You can see we've both grabbed our easy objectives, He's taken out one of my scorpions, which is a tough loss. I have kept his flamer back, but I've taken out two of his models, but he's also taken out one of my scorpions, which is my most expensive model. So I think it's still pretty even. All right, turn 2. So this is just how the battlefield looks after turn 2. I get to go first again because I activated last, and I just decide this bike is going to give me trouble. And with Furious, I really don't want this bike charging me. So I send in my Scorpion. I'm hoping to kill her, but I can understand if I don't. So yeah, I do 2 wounds. I don't kill her. And then he swings back with 4 and stuns my Scorpion. And then just kind of, and I thought it was a pretty good play. This guy was already exhausted and he's already got 2 wounds. So he's like, well, I'm just going to take the value. And he just charges my Scorpion and then backs up. So it's a good play. It's like he knew this guy was injured and was only hitting on 6s. So he just charges Scorpion, finishes him off. In turn, I charge my Dire Avenger around with the Power Sword. I think I do another 2 wounds, or actually I roll 1 wound and I roll a 5 and I kill her, and then I move back. I would say in this game I definitely roll good on the wounds to take out model. So the Avenger takes out that the winged sister and then backs up behind the wall. He moves up. He basically, the bike is blocking the shot from this Banshee, so he just moves up his leader and kind of repositions to get a better shot next turn. I in turn move up my Banshee and I shoot at this bike, but I miss. He brings up so he runs his sister over here and just kind of gets her close to the middle so that she can start supporting the middle, because this is where the action is going to basically, you can probably guess for now that we both have these 2 objectives pretty clean, and that this is really where the fight turns. So he just rushes her up. I move my other Banshee. I'm trying to stay away from that flamer, and I shoot. I'm not good at shooting. I didn't roll great for shooting, and again, I just missed the bike. He runs forward his sister. I think he was worried about me trying to get behind the lines, and he knows I want that flamer, so I think he's trying to block that flamer from getting shot. And remember, this Banshee only has hand-to-hand, so I think that's what he's trying to do there. He just blocks the path to my flamer. I then basically I say, you know what? This guy is on 2 wounds left. I charge him. I'm like, I'll have the leader take him out. So I just wanted to show this. This was funny. These are my last 2 shooting attacks. So I hit twice with my leader. That's an AP4 energy spear. And he rolls double 6s to save. And we were joking. We were like, oh, it'd be awesome if, like, because remember, he's hitting on 6s with his biker sister. So I'm like, I literally said, I bet he's going to roll 2 6s and hit me back. Well, I was wrong because he rolled 3 6s. So this was probably one of the most entertaining parts of the game, that he rolled double 6s to save, and then he hits on 6s only, and he rolls triple 6s. Luckily, my leader passed 2 out of the 3 saves, and I managed to stay alive. It would have been like even worse if he would have taken out my leader, but that bike is just tough as nails. So yeah, that was pretty funny. So again, he sees that my Banshee has a lot of threat arc that I could run around. So he chooses just to keep his flamer back. And then, I'm like, I need to take out that bike. So I just charge in with my Banshee, but I only hit once and he saves. So it's like, this bike is just, it's cursed right now for me. But that's the end of turn 2. Yeah, a really interesting turn with those rolls on that bike, but I'm still doing pretty good, so I'm not going to complain too much. All right, turn 3. So just getting a look at the battlefield again. It's his turn first because I activated last, and he just goes ahead and charges my leader. He wants to get some value out of that bike. He does 1 wound, but this is where he starts to roll bad. He only rolls like a 2, and my leader survives. So like I said, this is where he starts rolling bad. So, the rolls start to swing back the other way. On my turn, I send my Banshee up to this chainsaw, this fanatic sister. I hit her, do 2 wounds, and then I stun her, and then the Banshee backs off. So On his turn, he just unstuns his fanatic sister. And on my turn, I just unstun my leader. So we're kind of even there. The initiative is back in his court. He just runs up his flamer. I think he's trying to get that flamer in range and just kind of sits behind this sister. Oh, by the way, this Banshee, I forgot to activate her. She's definitely activated, and you'll see just like in a few clips that the Banshee is activated. We just forgot to. There's a little button that you press in Universal Battles to activate to show a model is activated. I just forgot to activate her for a couple of turns. But anyway, just getting back on that. So here's my Dire Avenger. I go ahead and charge charge the sister. She's already got 2 wounds. I do 3 and I kill her. And yeah, and that's also me. Again, at this point, I forgot to activate her. So we just activate her as well. So that's just a small mistake, just as we're playing the game. We both knew she had activated, but in Universal Battles, it's really nice to have this little activation button so that it's very easy to keep, especially in this sort of game, you can easily keep track of what you've activated and what you haven't. So yeah, I just charge, take out the Chainsaw Sister, and then move back. So in her turn, he moves up his Battle Sister and shoots at my leader, does a 4th wound, but hey, this is where his rolls kind of start going bad. He rolls a 1, and my leader survives with 4 damage. So the rolls are definitely coming back in my favor. I think early game, he rolled good, and late game, I started to roll a lot better. So yes, but he does stun my leader, but he's still alive. Oh, at this point, so I have enough room. I pre-checked it beforehand that if I cleared out this chainsaw, I send my Banshee in. She does 1 wound, and then she's stunned. So yeah, that's like she does 1 wound, and this is before the wound roll, and then I rolled a stunner. And we use these, as you can kind of see, we're using these little blood tokens to recognize a stunned model. So at this point, all he has left is his leader, and she just turns around and shoots this Banshee. At this point, we're both below, well, he's below 50%. So he was trying to hit this Banshee, kill her, and then both of us would be making morale tests. But he misses the Banshee. So again, at this point in the game, his rolls do start getting worse. And then finally, I charge my Banshee into the bike. I do 1 wound and I stun her. So I'm still above 50%. He didn't take out the Banshee. So I'm above 50%, but he's not. So at this point, he rolls for morale. 2 of these units are stunned. They automatically fail morale. So both of these are gone. And then he passes the morale on his 2 remaining units. They need like a 4 up. So he passes morale on both. So this is the end of turn 3. That was a huge turn for me where I was able to stun. Remember, on turn 3, a stun is just as good as a kill. So me being able to stun them and they stay stunned, they automatically, and he's below 50%, so they automatically just die on turn 4. So this is turn 4, pretty quick turn. So this is the turn him starting. He really has to do something. He just goes ahead and decides to push and kill my leader. So he charges my leader and automatically kills my leader. He then consolidates to contest the objective. Yeah, it's pretty much game over unless I roll incredibly bad. So I charge his sister. I do 1 wound, and I actually roll a 5. So I take her out. So this is where my rolls really start to heat up. So I kill her, and then I just move up. Lastly, all he has is his leader left. So his leader charges, does 1 wound on my Banshee, but isn't able to kill her. And the leader we checked is outside of 3. So we didn't finish off the game. And this was a learning game too. So we didn't stress about it. We both had a good time. And I think that he learned a lot about not just Firefight, but he learned a lot about Universal Battles. So yeah, really good game. This is just how it ends. The game may have seemed like it went by fast, but it took a little longer just as I'm teaching, as we're both we had to check rules a few times. And then, but yeah, it's end of game. It's a 2-1 victory for the High Elf fleets. Yeah, and also it was, I was worried that it would be hard to kind of onboard someone, but actually it was pretty intuitive to use Universal Battles. I showed him the rulers, I kind of showed him the models, and he was I think after maybe like 15, 20 minutes, he was just I think he was just good and we just played the game. So, but it is a 2-1 victory. That's not much of a victory. He's a learner and he grabbed an auto army. But yeah, it is a victory for the high elf fleets. I think more importantly, it was about uh, using universal battle. So I would say that a learning point. I think sisters are really great for their points. I may actually be just playing this firefight. I actually want to go and build some sisters now. They're that devout rule on them, and they're really 20 points on a standard sister is just great. So I know I'm looking. This has actually made me want to play sisters. Yeah. Yeah, I think that universal battles too, it's not as good as real life play, but yeah, if you can't play, I oftentimes can't play as much as I used to in person. So I do play universal battles too. I tend to play Kings of War on universal battles, but I am playing Grimdark and OPR games on universal battles too. Yeah, and universal battles, so it is online, but actually it's not only very easy to use, but also universal battles is actually a lot more accurate than real life play because you get all these accurate measurements. You can just check things and you can undo. So it's a really great. I've used it for years to play other games, and it's really nice that OPR is just a natural fit for it as well. So I didn't this is just showing you the game. I am going to be creating some tutorials in the near future about how to build armies and to play OPR or Universal Battles too. I know that there's Tabletop Simulator, but for anyone who, I think it's just preference. I play other games on Universal Battles too, and so I just naturally stick with it. But yeah. All right, thanks for watching. You can also just comment. I'm on Discord as well. Yeah, I'll play you on Universal Battles too, and I'll teach you. Let me know, especially how the format went. Maybe you want some more zooming in of figures. I kind of kept this battle pretty basic, where it's like all the same view. But let me know if maybe it would be more dynamic if I'm like zooming in to particular parts of the battle. So I may be playing around with how to actually how to create battle reports for universal battles too, instead of not only just playing. Anyway, just like, subscribe, and comment. All right, thanks everyone.